Have you ever wondered, why did PepsiCo sell off Taco Bell and KFC only to buy Quaker Oats later? Why does Apple thrive by charging premium prices, while Walmart wins by being the low-cost giant? And why do so many companies have well-written strategies on paper but more than half of them still fail in execution? By the end of this video, you'll know how to answer these questions and you'll understand the foundations of strategic management, one of the most important areas in business. Welcome to Chapter 5, Strategic Management. This is my main area of expertise, and while we can't cover everything in one chapter because it could easily be an entire course, or even several ones, instead I'll guide you through the core concepts. Here's what we'll cover today. What strategic management is and why it matters. The difference between strategy formulation and implementation. The two main levels of strategy, corporate and business strategy, how companies build competitive advantage using cost leadership or differentiation. And of course, we'll look at real-world examples along the way. First of all, what is strategic management? In Chapter 4, we discussed mission and vision. Strategic management is about turning those into reality. It's about the actions and decisions that allow a firm to reach its goals. Think of it this way. Companies operate in changing environments full of competitors, opportunities, and threats. Strategic management is the process of analyzing those environments, creating solutions, and executing them effectively. Strategy has two major stages: formulation and implementation. Formulation, generating ideas, analyzing options, and deciding what the company should do. Implementation, putting those ideas into action by organizing, leading, and controlling to make sure the strategy works. For example, imagine you're sick. A doctor examines you, looks at your symptoms, and writes a prescription. That's strategy formulation. You go to the pharmacy, buy the medicine, and take it consistently. That's strategy implementation. And here's the catch. Over 50% of strategies fail at the implementation stage. It's not enough to have a great plan, but actually execution is where most companies stumble. So, which is more important, formulation or implementation? The truth is, they depend on each other. A brilliant plan without execution fails, but poor planning makes execution nearly impossible. To understand levels of strategy, let's pause for a quick definition. A corporation is a company that owns multiple businesses, often across different industries. Instead of selling just one product, a corporation operates a portfolio of businesses. Take PepsiCo for example. You probably know PepsiCo for its famous drink Pepsi. But PepsiCo is much more than soda. It also owns snack brands like LA's, Doritos, and Cheetos, healthy breakfast options like Quaker Oats, and sports drinks like Gatorade. Here's something you may not know. PepsiCo once owned fast food chains like Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC. That may surprise you, because today those restaurants are no longer part of PepsiCo. They are now under another corporation called Yum Brands. So why did PepsiCo sell Taco Bell and KFC only to buy Quaker Oats later? That's an example of corporate strategy. Decisions about what industries or businesses to be in. Selling Taco Bell and KFC was a corporate-level decision to move away from fast food. Buying Quaker Oats was another corporate-level decision in order to moving toward healthier foods. Why the shift? Corporate strategies are often shaped by trends in the environment. In this case, consumers were becoming more concerned about health and nutrition. PepsiCo realized it couldn't just be a soda and fast food company anymore, so it changed course. At the corporate level, companies ask questions like, what industries should we be in? Do these businesses create synergy where 1 + 1 yields more than 2? Should we acquire new firms or sell existing ones? How diversified should we be? Another example is Coca-Cola, which owns the classic soft drink, but it also took a stake in Monster Energy to expand into energy drinks. Why? Because Coke's powerful distribution system could give Monster a huge boost. That's synergy in action. Now let's contrast that with the business level. At the business level, the focus is narrower. How should each individual business compete? For PepsiCo, Quaker Oats has to compete against other breakfast brands. Gatorade has to compete against sports drinks like Powerade. LA's has to compete against other snack brands. Each business needs its own strategy to gain competitive advantage in its market. At the heart of business strategy is competitive advantage, which is how a firm sets itself apart from competitors and delivers unique value to customers. Without competitive advantage, a firm is just one of many. Michael Porter, a leading scholar in strategy, identified two main ways companies can gain competitive advantage. Cost leadership. This means a company focuses on being the lowest cost producer in its industry. The idea is simple. If you can produce at a lower cost than competitors, you can either A. charge lower prices to attract more customers, or B. sell at the same price but earn higher profit margins. Cost leaders usually achieve this through things like economies of scale, highly efficient operations, tight cost controls, and often standardized products. Walmart is the classic case. Its slogan, "Save money, live better," captures its strategy. Offer customers the lowest possible prices by keeping costs down everywhere in its supply chain. In the airline industry, Ryanair or Spirit Airlines strip away extras to keep prices low. Customers may not get a meal or extra comfort, but they get a cheap ticket. Differentiation. This means a company focuses on being unique in ways that customers value. Instead of trying to be the cheapest, differentiators try to stand out by offering something distinctive: superior quality, innovative design, better service, or a strong brand image. Customers are willing to pay more because they see extra value. For example, Apple differentiates with sleek design, an easy-to-use ecosystem, and a strong brand identity. People pay premium prices for iPhones, even when cheaper smartphones exist. Why are cost leadership and differentiation usually incompatible? At this point, you might be thinking, why not do both or be the cheapest and the most unique? Here's the problem. Cost leadership and differentiation usually pull a company in opposite directions. Cost leadership requires standardization and cutting out anything extra that raises costs. Differentiation requires adding extras like better quality, features, service, or branding, which increase costs. Trying to do both often leads to what Porter called being stuck in the middle, or not cheap enough to compete on cost, and not unique enough to justify higher prices. Imagine a restaurant that tries to serve gourmet organic meals and be the cheapest fast food option in town. Chances are, it won't succeed at either. That said, some modern companies, like IKEA, have managed to blend elements of both by designing products cheaply while still offering style and uniqueness. But these are exceptions, not the rule. In addition to choosing cost leadership or differentiation, firms also need to decide on their scope. Broad scope, targeting a wide market, serving many customer segments. Narrow scope, focus, targeting a smaller, more specialized market. When you combine strategy type, cost leadership versus differentiation, with scope, broad versus narrow, you get 4 generic strategies. Broad cost leadership example is Walmart. It offers thousands of products across many categories at the lowest price possible. Focused cost leadership can be Dollar General. It competes on low price but with a narrower range of products and smaller store footprint. Broad differentiation example could be Mercedes-Benz or Nordstrom. They compete on uniqueness such as luxury, quality, prestige while serving a broad market across many product categories. Focused differentiation example can be Ferrari or Lacoste. They compete on uniqueness but in a very narrow segment. Ferrari focuses only on high-end sports cars, Lacoste on upscale casual fashion. Now let's apply the framework to auto industry. Ford and Hyundai are examples of broad cost leadership. They offer wide product lines at affordable prices. BMW and Mercedes are examples broad differentiation, offering luxury features across many models. Ferrari fits focused differentiation by offering ultra-high-end sports cars for a very niche market. And finally, Tata Motors and Smart Car are examples of focused cost leadership. They offer ultra-cheap cars for a specific market segment. Here's the key takeaways. Companies must choose cost leadership or differentiation, broad or narrow. These choices determine their competitive position and long-term success. So to recap, strategic management is about turning vision into reality through formulation and implementation. Corporate strategy asks, what industries should we be in, while business strategy asks, how should we compete? Competitive advantage is at the center, and firms usually choose between cost leadership or differentiation across a broad or narrow market. Now let's go back to those opening questions. Why did PepsiCo sell Taco Bell and KFC? Because of a corporate strategy shift. The company recognized a trend. People were becoming more health conscious. To stay competitive, PepsiCo exited fast food and invested in healthier brands like Quaker Oats. Why does Apple succeed with premium pricing while Walmart wins with low costs? That's the difference between differentiation. Apple offers unique products at a premium, and cost leadership. Walmart attracts customers through low prices. And why do so many strategies fail? Because having a plan is not enough. Implementation or turning plans into action is where most companies stumble. That's the big picture of strategic management. In the next part, we'll dig deeper into how firms analyze their environments to craft better strategies.